Hey there, coaches. How are you doing this morning? Sanae, Floyd here, business breakthrough coach and sales mentor. So I'm feeling a little bit raw this morning. I'll be completely honest and transparent with you. I'm feeling a little bit raw this morning because I have been wrestling with fear. The good old fear of visibility. It completely surged up unexpectedly this morning, and my whole nervous system was triggered and kind of thrown into high alert. So I felt, not so much now, but I felt intensely vulnerable and insecure. And, the reason being, because I was due to come in here and do this live stream today. And I was thinking, God, even now, after all these years, literally all these years, it still gets me. Every now and again. It will still sneak up on me. And, I just want to kind of share what I did about it and really why it comes up. So I'm sure you know this, but sometimes it's good to hear it again, just to kind of reinforce, like, okay, so this is something I can work through, and I can kind of almost separate myself from it and see it for what it is. Like, and when you shine a light of consciousness onto something, it diminishes, like anything that is a fear-based response in you. When you shine a light of awareness and consciousness on it, it will naturally diminish. So it's so important to drag these things into awareness. But we know that visibility is a major fear. People have such a huge fear of public speaking, and all that exposure directly violates our deepest primal strategy for safety, if you like. If you think about it, exposure equals being seen, equals being eaten. On the days we were roaming the savannas, if there was a predator and it could see, it's that eyeballs on us type of thing. If there was a predator and we're out exposed on the savannah, then we're going to get attacked and eaten. So there's that primal fear of being seen. But then, of course, we have that extra layer, that added layer of beliefs that we picked up in childhood that creates the fear of judgment, of rejection, of abandonment, because we have beliefs that propagate the story that, I'm too much, or I'm not enough, and it's all the variations and variants of those. So all of this means that visibility is going to be naturally very scary. It's going to trigger our nervous system, and our nervous system is designed, it throws up a frenzy because it is doing its job. It's designed to keep us safe and small equals safe. So like I say, today it surged up for me big time. So what I've decided is to scrap what I was going to talk about initially and talk to you about how I deal with this, how I dealt with it this morning, and moving forward, how I will continue to deal with this. Because they say every level, new devil. So as you're going out there and you're getting more and more visible, you're increasing visibility, you're growing and expanding, this is just going to come up in different levels, and it's about seeing it for what it is, having strategies in place to deal with it. So the first thing I would say, and this first thing that I did, was I needed to separate myself from my thoughts and my feelings. Like, there is a higher self, you are not your thoughts and feelings. That's why we say my thoughts, my feelings. Who's my? It's I. So when you can pull back and note that there is a higher part of you that is observing the thoughts, that is watching the narrative, and there is a part of you that can observe the feelings in the body without being identified with it. So this takes practice to actually step back, and you can change your language from I feel anxious, I feel fear, to there is fear here, there is insecurity here. That kind of begins to separate yourself from the thoughts and the feelings. But the best, the quickest way, and this is what I did this morning, is I grabbed my journal and I journaled and I wrote in full technicolor language without leaving anything out exactly what my thoughts were saying. You know, it's when you can throw it out on paper, take it out of your head. When you can see it on paper, it kind of, again, it loses its charge. But you've got to give expression to that voice, those thoughts in your head. Give them expression. It's your inner child freaking out. So absolutely don't be self-critical. Be self-compassionate. So that's the first thing. Separate yourself from the thoughts and the feelings by getting them out on paper and then being very compassionate. But when you see it on paper, you start to kind of you're able to then dissect and analyze and pull these thoughts apart and go, that's not real. That's not true. That's a lie. And then it starts to you start to kind of embolden yourself and empower yourself in that way. The second thing I did, and was absolutely, I didn't have to go back over it, but it was so helpful because it kind of instilled it in my memory, was a few weeks ago, I wrote a note to myself. I wrote a note to this part of myself that showed up this morning. I didn't know she was going to show up, but I kind of did because, you know, it's what happens. So I wrote a note to myself and I wrote it some weeks ago when I was absolutely having a ball. Like, I love my job. I freaking love what I do. I love every aspect. I love marketing. I love like live streaming. I love it. I enjoy it. And so, you know, during one of these periods where I was absolutely having a ball, I was really feeling great about what I was doing. I just finished doing a live stream, and I know, because this is my system, that my VA is going to download that. It's going to get repurposed in multiple ways across my email, YouTube, into my blog. I feel really good about this. And in this particular moment, I was feeling really high. You know, my business marketing strategy finally feels systemized, it's efficient. So I felt incredible. So what I did in that moment was I wrote a quick note to my future self saying, dear future self, this is for you, that part of you who will try to hijack and drag you down. And it was basically a note to say, you are having a ball. You are doing what you love. You are sharing your value. You're sharing your message. Everything's streamlined. You are having fun. Don't stop now, because, you know, as soon as you stop, then all that system kind of wobbles and you have to contact the VA and say, sorry, there's nothing to download today and all of that. So it was a note when I was absolutely on a high to this fear-based part of me to remember that this, because you know what it's like when you're in that fear state, you forget all about all the good stuff, how good you felt when it was good. You forget all of that very quickly. So it's important, just have a note for yourself, that self that's going to rear up at some point as you're up leveling or you're, you know, growing, that's going to try and hijack you. So that's what I did. And because I remembered doing it and I remembered that note, I just thought, yes, just focus on that. And then the third and final thing I would say that really helped me this morning is just I came back to my why. Why am I doing this? And any time you connect to your purpose, like your desire to make a difference in the world, your desire to help people. For me, part of my why as well is, you know, I want to continue this work because one of my biggest struggles during my you know, decades of my life was playing small and not having a voice. And that was real pain for me. So in a way, that's another layer of my purpose, to continue to show up and have a voice. So when you can connect to your purpose will always be greater than your fear. So guys, I hope you found this helpful. I know it's a doozy. I know the fear of visibility is such a big one. It will drag you down. It's every opportunity, but it's doing its job. It's trying to keep you safe. So it's about separating that part from who you really are and then going out there and doing it. So with love and light, thank you so much for watching, and I shall speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.